Hey guys, Prowl1701 here, and today I have a Patreon request. One of my top tier patrons, the 5th Doctor, wanted to know my top 10 favorite members of UNIT. And I've been meaning to get through this one for a while. I actually wrote the list down a while back. It's just there was about 3 of the characters' names I couldn't remember, and lazy me just hadn't gotten around to looking up the names. I actually went and did it and had it done in like 5 minutes. So I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favorite members of UNIT. Starting at number 10 with Harry Sullivan. I like Harry, and I'm surprised he's not higher. I do enjoy him. I think he complements the 4th Doctor and Sarah really well. Season 12 is my favorite season of Doctor Who, and I enjoy them kind of as a trio going around. Now, I'm glad he only kind of stayed really for a season and then kind of popped up a couple times in 13, because I do like Tom with just Sarah. But I enjoyed it. I like the little bit he adds to the mix, the kind of posh-sounding voice of his. It's nice having an actual Doctor on hand. His interactions with the Doctor are pretty nice. But although he doesn't quite live up to the memory of him I had as a kid, but he's still a really good character. Number 9 is, I believe it's Captain Knight, the captain from Web of Fear. I liked Captain Knight. I'm always sad when he dies toward the end. Like 50-year-old spoilers. When he dies, I just liked him. He seemed like a good leader. I liked the fact he was willing to take the Brigadier at his word and take the Professor at his word and kind of trust the Doctor. I thought the actor playing him did a really good job. Again, he's only in that story, but every time I watch it, and when he dies, I'm always saddened by it. I always feel the loss of him as a character, because I would have loved to have seen him come back in other stories. It would have been nice to maybe have seen him come back in The Invasion, because I really just liked the character. He struck me as a really good leader. Number 8 on the list is, I have a hard time pronouncing her name. It's the captain from Planet of the Dead, Captain Magambo? Columbo? Rambo? Magambo? I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but I like her. She is, again, that kind of serious, no-nonsense captain. She's a great leader, but she has some humorous moments. I do enjoy that. Like, I like when she salutes, and the Doctor's like, "Did you just salute?" when they're on the phone, and she's like, "No." That's funny. I like that. But, there's a lot of real stakes with her. I like when her and Malcolm are fighting over whether to close the portal or not, because Malcolm has faith in the Doctor, and while she likes the Doctor and has a huge respect for him, she's having to think of the safety of the planet first. And those can't be easy shoes to be in that situation, but she's still doing what she thinks is the best thing to do. And I enjoy that. I think the actress playing her does a really good job at conveying that. I love Planet of the Dead, I think, more than a lot of people do. It's my favorite of the David Tennant specials, even more so than Next Doctor and End of Time. I like Planet of the Dead a lot. And there's several reasons why, but she is definitely one of the reasons I really like this story. Moving up to number 7 is the captain from The Invasion, which I believe is Captain Turner. There's a few corporals and captains in The Invasion, but I believe it's Corporal Turner I like. The one that's kind of sweet on the Professor's niece, the one that always takes pictures and writes on the walls, the one, they kind of click a little. I enjoy that. I think that's Captain Turner. I like him a lot, and I like the fact he actually did survive this episode. And I would like to have seen him come back. I really enjoyed him. He makes a good second-in-command. I enjoy the banter between him and the girl I was just talking about, the little flirtatious nature there. Like when they're joking about, "Oh, how much do you make?" And then, of course, when he leads the charge to go kind of rescue him in the sewers, I enjoy that. Just, again, I like him. I think the actor playing him does a really good job to where it's memorable. I like whenever I watch The Invasion, he's one of the things I enjoy seeing in it. So yeah, I think he does a really good job. Number 6 on the list is Osgood. I like Osgood. I do prefer her in Day of the Doctor. I just find her an interesting character in her own right. I find her an interesting character in her own right. Sometimes I run my words together. I don't really care for the whole, is she the real one? Is she the Zygon? Oh, there's 2 of them. That's kind of irksome. Although it was a creative way to kill her off and make us go, and then bring her back. That was creative. I'll give it that. That was really neat. It's Doctor Who. Anything can happen. But just, especially her portrayal in Day of the Doctor, I liked. I liked that she's basically just a huge, fangirl of the Doctor and just like geeks out at meeting the Doctor. Just like us, really. She's like us. And I really enjoy that. Wearing the bow tie and the scarf and all. I love that. That's a lot of fun. And right above her is Malcolm. I just love Malcolm. I wish Malcolm would come back. We got a lot of Osgood, but I want Malcolm. Malcolm is hilarious. He's another thing I love about Planet of the Dead. He's another one that's just a huge fanboy of the Doctor. And I like when he calls the Doctor and the Doctor's like, I'm busy, and hangs up on him. He's like, he hung up on me. And then later in the episode, Malcolm does the same thing when the Doctor calls him. He's like, I'll call you back. The Doctor's like, he hung up on me. I love that. You named a unit of measurement after yourself. Well, it didn't do so bad for Mr. Watt, did it? I enjoy that because Malcolm is eccentric. He's nerdy, but he's also very intelligent. And he wants to help. And he wants to do the right thing. And he's not giving in to the captain who thinks they need to go ahead and close the portal. The Doctor, Malcolm's like, no, you'll have to kill me first. I won't give you my notes. He stands his ground. He's brave. I absolutely love that. Malcolm's just fun to watch, and I think most of y'all caught on to that. I love stuff that's fun. I do. I enjoy it. Number 4 on the list is Liz Shaw. I do love me some Liz Shaw. I know we only get one season with her, but I like when the Doctor has smart companions like her and Zoe. I like the fact that they're very intelligent. They can keep up to the Doctor to an extent. He doesn't have to explain things to them. They're very smart in their own right. And I really enjoy that. Plus, I think Carolyn John just plays the role really well. Very calm, very reserved. Although I also like her alternate version from Inferno as well. She gets a nice little honorable mention. But yeah, I enjoy Liz. It's nice to see like a woman scientist on the team in 1970. I think that's pretty impressive. Number 3 on the list is Sergeant Benton. I love Benton. One of my biggest complaints with Android Invasion is Benton deserved a better final episode. Because the last time we see actual Benton, he's knocked unconscious and basically put in a closet. Because the last time we see John playing Benton, he's actually playing the robot, the android impersonating Benton. So I wish we'd gotten a little more closure from that. But I just enjoyed Benton. I like the continuity between not just the Brigadier and whatever companion the Doctor has, but there are a couple other regulars you see normally, and Benton is one. I always enjoy episodes where Benton has a lot to do. For all of my complaining about the Daemons that I do, one thing I love about the Daemons is Benton is in it a lot. Benton has a lot to do in it. I love the scene when he's shooting the targets because the witch is making people think the Doctor did it. I really enjoy that. I like in Inferno when Benton gets to, John gets to play the evil version of Benton. That's pretty cool too. I really like Benton. He seems like a good military man, but also, like somebody you could share a beer with in a pub. He's nice, he's polite, gets along with the other soldiers, gets along with the female companions well. I really like that. Gets on with the Brigadier and the Doctor well. Just seems like an all-around nice guy you could have a beer with, and I like that. I really think John plays him really, really well. He's one of my favorite things about the Pertwee era, easily. Number 2 on the list is Jo Grant. I had to remind myself that she is a member of UNIT, because I think of her more as a companion. But I like me some Jo Grant. She's so much fun. There's so much of Katie Manning in Jo Grant, and I like that. She's a little scatterbrained, but she's always got her heart in the right place. She's always trying to do the right thing. Although you have to be aware of the fact that if you tell Jo not to go and do a thing, Jo is going to go and do the thing. That's just Jo. But I love her sense of fashion, her sense of style, her sense of flair, everything about her. And watching her grow over the course of her 3 years with the Doctor and how all of that culminates in the Green Death with her kind of stretching out to go on her own with the new love of her life. I enjoy that. She has a great little arc there. I always enjoy Jo. Her and the third Doctor are just so good together. There's such chemistry there, and I always enjoy that. And of course, number 1, the one that has to be number 1, Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart, the Brigadier. When I think of members of UNIT, the first one I think of is the Brigadier. He is the immediate image that pops in my head. I love the Brigadier. I think Nicholas Courtney acts this role really well. Every now and then in an episode he gets a little pantomime-y, but for the most part really well. I especially love the way he acts the part in his first two stories. I love how, I swear sometimes the Brigadier gets on with the second Doctor a little better than the third Doctor. Because the third Doctor, they do have their ups and down moments. Whereas the second Doctor, I've always loved the fact that the Brigadier, or I should say at the time the Colonel, trusted the Doctor right when he first met him in Web of Fear. He was willing to trust him and tell other people to trust him because, he was willing to take that chance that the Doctor was right. He seemed to know what he was talking about. And the fact he got on so well with him in the invasion, it's so nice to see you again. I enjoy that. Whereas him and the third Doctor had a little friction. But he seems to get on really well with the fourth Doctor. He gets on really well with the fifth Doctor. I love when he's talking about the Doctor in the five Doctors as well, fellows. All of them. I love that. And then he's so happy to see the second Doctor when the second Doctor walks in. I love the Brigadier. And I think, again, he is definitely one of the standout things about the Pertwee era. But I always enjoy when he pops back up anytime in Doctor Who, before the Pertwee era or after the Pertwee era. He's one of the great things about Battlefield. And I've never seen Enemy of the Bane, the Sarah Jane adventure story he's in. I need to watch that one day because I do want to see his final story. But obviously he's made such an impact that's carried, his legacy has carried into modern Who with, him being mentioned in some of the early seasons before Nicholas passed. Usually he'd be stranded in Peru, but he did get mentioned. When Nicholas died, they had that tribute to him right at the end of season 6 when Matt tries to call him, and they tell him that, Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart passed away. And you see how badly that hits the 11th Doctor, and that's kind of what makes him face up to the situation he has to deal with his impending death and figure out a solution to it. I remember watching that episode, and I knew Nicholas had passed away, of course. I didn't know they were going to put that in the story, and it was like a gut punch when the nurse tells him that, it's actually affecting me right now. My eyes are watering up. When she says, Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart passed away several months ago. I mean, it was. I'm pretty sure people who weren't familiar with the character probably understood that it was a classic character they were referencing, but they didn't get it the way we get it, the way those of us who grew up with the classic series and we love this character and we know this character and we know the bond they have, the way it hit us. And it does, even when I rewatch it gut punches me, but the first time I saw it, it was bad. It about knocked the wind out of me. I love the Brigadier. I just always think of him as one of the Doctor's closest friends, especially closest male friends, but definitely closest friends. They're good together. So much so they even created a character just to honor him with Kate. And Kate's not actually on my list because I feel like the longer Kate's around, the more her character gets kind of messed up. I don't like Power of Three. It is a Chibs episode after all, but I do love Kate Stewart in Power of Three. I think her as a character is good. I think that scene when the Doctor mentions about her dad, knowing it's her dad, don't give up hope, Kate, your dad never did. That's a beautiful scene. The fact he realized that that's the Brigadier's daughter. That's a beautiful, beautiful scene. And I even liked her in Day of the Doctor. I thought she was good in Day of the Doctor. You start kind of losing me after that, though, because at this point she kind of feels too much like a daddy's boy. She goes on about her dad a little too much. You almost start to think she has an Oedipus complex. It just happens. The references to her dad, it's kind of like with the prime, what was her name? The Prime Minister, Harriet Jones. Harriet Jones, former Prime Minister. Yes, we know who you are. Even the Daleks were like, yes, we know who you are. It's pretty much like that with Kate Stewart. Well, Unit's pretty important to my family. Yes, you're the Brigadier's daughter. Yes, I know who you are. I'm kind of at that point with her. That's the reason why she's not on the list. I love her first 2 or 3 stories, but I'm kind of burned out on her at this point. As much as I love the Brigadier, she's too much in his shadow at this point. I wish they'd ease up on her being the Brigadier's daughter. That way they can focus on actually focusing on her character, focus on her as a person, and not just as a tribute to the Brigadier. The other one I did want to kind of give a special mention to is Brigadier, was it Bambera? Bambosa? Bambera? Is that it? Bambera? The one from Battlefield, the other Brigadier. I like her a lot, too. She almost made the top 10. She was like number 11. She was right there. Because I do really like her a lot. I like her kind of no-nonsense, get-it-done attitude. Even though I like that her and the one knight, the kind of King Arthur knight, seemed like they hit it off, which I actually think in audios and stories they did end up getting together. So I do like her and wanted to give a shout-out to that. So that has been my top 10, plus a little more, members of UNIT. I would like to know what you think of the ones I mentioned and what your top 10 list would be. So comment down below and let me know, because I always enjoy hearing from you guys. I want to give a shout out to the 5th Doctor. This was a fantastic video request, and I am sorry it took me so long to get it done. I have been meaning to do it. I did actually make the list forever ago. If you would like to be able to do video requests like that, I would advise you to check out my Patreon. Certain tier levels do get set a number of video requests a month, like my $20 tier gets like 3 video requests a month. But I also have an entry-level tier at $2 just for general support if you'd like to do that. I have like a $5 tier, $10 tier, $15 tier. Just, if anything appeals to you, I would ask that you check that out. I do an exclusive video just for my patrons once a week. I am really knuckling down on doing that. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me, Doctor Who related, sci-fi related, or otherwise, it's just that you think I should check out. I have a link to my Amazon wish list down there, and a link to my Amazon UK wish list, which is much smaller, down there as well. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.